Are you sick of people not listening to you at the doors or on the phone? Are you sick of people just telling you not interested and closing the door right away? Well, it's probably because you are not interrupting their patterns. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can interrupt people's patterns on the doors or over the phone. However, you're selling solar, very important skill. Let's get into it. My name's Taylor Armstrong. We're here to help you close more deals, generate more leads and referrals, and hopefully have a much better time in the solar industry. Thanks for tuning into the show, whether you are new or an experienced avid listener of the Solarpreneur podcast. It is much appreciated. We are coming at you free and available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you can listen to podcasts every Tuesday and Friday. We're going on, I think, 400 plus episodes now. It's like so many, might as well stop keeping track. Okay, but appreciate everyone that has shared the show, that has left us a review. If you have not done that yet, that is the one thing we ask. You'll notice don't really run ads on the show. Except for, some things I occasionally throw out, but I don't have people that come on and just bombard ads and all that. Try to keep it very minimal as far as that goes because I want to bring you pure value. And it's the podcast that I wish I had when I was selling solar, especially starting out. Okay. So, that being said, before we get into the topic of today's episode, if you have not heard it yet, we are doing our first Solarpreneur live event. Announced it a couple times, so you're going to get sick of me saying this, I promise, but we are going to blast it because I want to see as many of your beautiful faces there. So get your tickets to SolarCon. That's number one. Okay, and because when you use our coupon code Taylor at the checkout page, not only are you going to get I think it's 25% total off your tickets. There's a discount there, and then I think it's an extra 15%. You are going to get a ticket to our first live event, which is going to be April 17th in Utah, right before SolarCon. So hope you're going to be able to join us. I have the contract of the venue ready, just finalizing a couple details, getting the webpage built out. Should be able to have that ready. Hopefully next podcast you listen to. But in the meantime, grab your tickets. There's going to be limited spots. So for right now, all you need to do is go grab your SolarCon ticket, send us the receipt of that ticket over either the email taylor@solarpreneurs.com, or you can shoot me a DM, Facebook, Instagram, at Taylor J. Armstrong. One of those two, and we will put you on the list for that event. It's going to be the bomb. Okay, don't miss out. Okay, so let's jump into the topic. That is how to interrupt people's patterns at the door. It's something I've been thinking about quite a bit. I was actually reminded of this. I listened to a little podcast, little YouTube podcast. A guy I follow, his name's Russell Brunson. Some of you may have heard of him, the ClickFunnels guy. He recently interviewed Jeremy Lee Minor, which probably another person you should have heard of by now, but he is the NEPQ guy. Stands for Neuro Emotional Programming. Sorry, I totally butchered that. But neuro emotional, some type of programming. Okay, I need to look at. Totally butchered that. It is neuro emotional persuasion questioning. Okay, and he's super established sales trainer, coach. You can follow him. Does a lot of really good trainings. I have not personally been in any of his paid programs, but he's a guy I've been following for a while. Listening to his podcasts, interviews. Definitely knows his stuff when it comes to sales. Has a lot of good content. And by the way, he is actually speaking at SolarCon. So another reason to go grab your SolarCon tickets. But the reason I'm reminded of how important it is to really just break that frame, just get people's attention right off the bat, is because he did an interview recently on Russell Brunson's show. and he had a little section about when he was knocking doors. So I'm going to play just a little segment for you. We will link the full interview in the show notes if you want to go listen to the whole thing. Thought it was really good. And just a ton of things you can already take away from that. Like, he's doing all the things that sometimes we make fun of as solar guys, right? Like, a lot of people talk trash on people that wear the construction vests, that go to the door like construction workers, try to be someone they're not. I've talked smack on those people. A lot of people on Instagram are talking smack on those guys, but hey, there's something to be said about this. It's like we need to be thinking how we can really break people's patterns. He calls it a pattern interrupt. How can we break their preoccupation? And I've heard some people say, like, you've got to earn the right to give a presentation at the door. You've got to earn the right to people's attention. And if you don't break their preoccupation, if you don't have that pattern interrupt, no one's going to listen to you. So, especially if you're new, this is the reason, most likely, why people aren't listening to you right off the bat. This is the reason why you're getting not interested right off the bat and just bashing your head against a wall because you can't even get a full presentation out. You can't even get your words out. And even more so important in saturated markets, you really need to learn to master this pattern interrupts. Okay. So what I want to talk about is how can we have a better pattern interrupt in solar? Jeremy Miner talks about a few things that we can already apply. Yeah, but I'm going to break it down into 3 little categories, just give you some nuggets, some things I have experimented with, things that have worked well for me. Okay. So the first thing is he talked about how you dress out there. Okay. So how are you dressing when you go to a door? And he talks about how he's wearing construction vests. He's has like the metal clipboard, and that can work in solar. For me personally, I haven't rocked the construction vest. Okay, maybe I'm embarrassed to do it because people dig dirt on it, and I have to. I think it can work. Okay, what I do is you see me right now. If you're watching the video version of this, I'm actually in a t-shirt. More and more, I'm finding myself knocking in a t-shirt because what do typical door knockers do? They have the knocking polos, right? And maybe, I don't know, it might be a small difference, but for me, I'm seeing that seems like I get a little more attention or a little less, I would say, people aren't quite as guarded coming to the door. If I'm in a t-shirt, it's a small detail and it's not like make or break, but all these little things add up. Okay, so I find myself knocking more in a t-shirt. Hey, you can experiment with some of those other things. You can take an extreme. Guess you could try wearing the tool belt and all that. For me, it seems a little like bait and switch type thing. So I don't personally wear the tool belt or take it to that far. But especially after hearing Jeremy Miner talk about it, like I'm gonna stop talking trash on those guys because it can work. And it can definitely help you get some more time, get some more attention at the door. Hey, but let's like consider what you're wearing. Do you look like a total sales bro out there? Total sales lady? Right? Just think to yourself, okay, am I dressing a little bit different? Maybe you're wearing some nerdy shoes. Hey, something I've seen Taylor McCarthy do, and I do a lot of times too, especially as it's colder weather, is I just tie the sweatshirt across my body, right? Number one, if you know it's going to get colder when it gets dark, you got a sweatshirt there. But number 2, you look like a total dweeb out there knocking with your sweatshirt. Okay, maybe for you, it's you throw on a fanny pack. You look like a nerd. Like, however you can dress, however you can appear to not seem like you're going to be selling them something, not seem like you're going to be pitching their ear off, it's going to help you. Okay, so think about that. How are you dressing? Number 2, this is cool strategy. Picked up from my buddy Tyler Anderson here. He's selling in San Diego with us. So shout out to Tyler. But just consider the way you are going door to door. Okay. I know a lot of people take segways door to door. I've done that, but especially in saturated areas that have been hit super hard, like if you were driving Segway door to door, people see you. Did they instantly think, oh, this guy's selling something? If the pest control boys, the operative boys just came through all on Segways and you're also going through on a Segway, guess what? They're going to know you're selling something at the door. So I'm not saying don't use a Segway. I'm just saying you might want to like consider how are you actually going door to door. Okay. And you might want to consider like not knocking every door. What I like to do is jump around, first of all, because like a lot of people aren't going to be home depending on when you're knocking. So, you're jumping to homes with cars in the driveway, stuff like that. So that's the driving door to door strategy. We call it driving for dollars. Okay. And then the third thing in this is what are you saying? Right? Are you saying the exact same thing as every other solar guy that's coming to their door? Hey, how are you? My name's Taylor. I'm with Vivint Solar. Okay, whatever. That's how most people introduce themselves door to door. Right. So how can you be different? Some of my favorite lines that you can implement when you're out there today. And we're talking door to door, but if you are selling virtually, these are all things to remember too. Maybe you're doing call center leads, whatever. You got to be different over the phone, however you're presenting to people. Yeah, but here's a few lines that have been working great for me at the door. Okay, the first one is, hey, did you get the slip in the mail? Did you get anything in the door about what's going on? No? Okay. And you're not lying to them. Like, the truth is, people get stuff in the mail all the time. They throw it away. Especially out here where I'm selling, guarantee they've gotten mail about solar. So it's not like I'm not being truthful. Okay. Like, they get stuff in the mail about solar. Maybe it's not from me personally, but I mean, everyone has gotten stuff in the mail about solar. Another line to use. Hey, did you guys know John and Kathy? Did they tell you I was going to be popping by? You name drop a neighbor, building credibility, and then you ask them if they got told that I was going to pop by, that you were going to pop by. Great line there, creates curiosity, breaks the preoccupation. Okay, another thing you use is you pull up their name, like, hey, just making sure I'm at the right place. Is this still Carl Malone? Okay, cool. And then you can tie a lot of these together. You want to be creating that curiosity. You want to earn the right to give your presentation. Okay, so those are just a couple different things to think about as you're at the door. How are you breaking their preoccupation? How are you creating that pattern interrupt? If you're not doing these things, record yourself, figure out what's going on, and especially if you are not getting the attention you think you deserve at the door, if you're getting just no right off the bat, if you're getting not interested right off the bat, there's a good chance it's probably because you're not breaking that preoccupation. You're not doing a good pattern interrupts. So hope those things help. The three things to think about again is how are you dressing? How are you appearing at the door? Is it different? Number two, how are you going door to door? Is it different than all the other guys that have sold door to door? Heck, maybe start skipping around. I don't know. Just be different out there, right? And then number three, what are you saying? Are you saying the exact same thing as every other door to door guy? And who knows? Maybe now that I've shared my secrets on the podcast, maybe we're gonna have to all come up with completely different lines. Because if everyone starts saying all this stuff at the door, then maybe it's not gonna work for me anymore. Okay, so just don't be saying this too much in San Diego where I'm at, because these are my lines. Okay, but everywhere else, you're good. But hope that helps. Guys, go grab tickets for SolarCon. If you have not, I would deeply appreciate if you could go leave a review, a rating over on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you listen to this. Share the show. It helps us get the word out to more people and change more lives. And appreciate you listening to the show today. We'll see you on the next one. We've got some great contents. So make sure you tune in next Tuesday or Friday whenever you listen to this. All right, peace out.